Peace and blessings, family. This is Ubria, and I am back with another reading. This might resonate with you or with someone in your energy. You will receive valuable insight either way. And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. So, this is more of an intuitive message than a reading. Whoever I'm talking to, I feel like you are a reader. You are an intuitive person. You always have been, even before you knew what you were doing. You've always had this gift. And this gift is a blessing to other people, but I don't think you've quite learned how to make it a blessing to yourself yet. It's like you don't quite know how to make your gift work for you. So it's like if Thor has the power to make thunder to illuminate other people, he still don't know, like if it's a cold night, he don't know how to use that thunder to strike the grass and make a fire for himself to keep himself warm, if that makes any sense. So you're very powerful, but your power is sometimes a little bit misguided and misdirected. And so this message is here to help you with that. I was on my morning walk the other day and I was listening to this video called Emotion. It was all these I don't know, spiritualists and scientists and stuff, and they were all basically talking about like the nature of the body, the nature of emotions, and the nature of reality, and the way that the body is able to affect its own reality through its emotions. So a lot of the things that were said were very fascinating to me. And I just want to tell you a few of them, and then I'm going to apply it to the message. One of the things that he said was that the body, whenever you experience an emotion, the body creates a chemical that corresponds to that emotion, and then it flows through your veins in your blood. So basically, your emotions are getting you high because they become a chemical that actually flows through your veins. And then in your cells, you have these receptors that like actually physically take a piece of, because I think it's proteins, they take a piece of that emotion and they hold on to it, and they desire it and they crave it, so they look for it in their experiences. Okay, that's the first thing that fascinated me. The second thing that was said that fascinated me, and I've heard this before, but it just always bears repeating, which is that your brain does not know the difference between when something is happening or whether you just think something is happening. Your brain doesn't know the difference. So he was saying that also your body is so magnificently brilliant that it has never forgotten anything. It has never forgotten any single thing that you've ever gone through. So you have access to every emotion that you've ever felt, unless you've processed those emotions and you've let them go. So he was saying a lot of times people will, and this is something that happens to me as well, and this is the part of the message that I feel like is applicable to you. A lot of times people will experience an emotion in the moment, and their body thinks that the same thing that happened the last time they had that emotion is happening. And so your response will not be to what is currently happening, but your response will be to what your body believes is happening. And you will not know the difference unless you get in control of your power. So I'll use myself as an example. The first time I did a YouTube channel, when I first started years ago, it really mattered whether or not I got views, because views equaled possible deck sales, views equaled people possibly wanting to get personal readings from me, and all of that added up to money. And at the time, I was struggling real bad with money. So it really mattered. Everything, every number, every view, everything, every like, every comment, every share, like it really mattered, like in a physical way, like are me and my kids going to eat today or not kind of way. Now, current day, that is not my situation at all. If nobody ever clicks on another video, it is not a life or death situation. It's not a eat or starve situation for me anymore. But my body doesn't know that. So when I say to myself, okay, I'm gonna start making videos again, and I put them out, and 4 or 5 or 10 people watch, I had the same reaction in my body as if I was still back in my old life. And in this life, I have to affirm that that doesn't matter. Like, how much people consume my content does not no longer affect my quality of life. But my brain doesn't know that those two things are not related anymore. My chemicals, my cells, they think that the one thing is still the other thing. And so I'm saying all that to say the way that when we have situations like that where we're triggered, but we are no longer in danger. Because I think that's what I'm trying to say. I was triggered, but I was not in danger like previously. You could be in a situation like that, right? Where you get triggered, but you're no longer in danger. And you have to really ask yourself, why am I triggered? What triggered this? Why do I feel unsafe? Why do I feel upset? Why do I feel hopeless, helpless? Why do I feel panicked? All these things you feel, even though the situation that you're currently in does not call for those feelings. So that brings me to the last thing that he said that really fascinated me. And it actually kind of triggered me a little bit. Because basically you have two choices when you have an emotion, right? Emotions are energy in motion, and you can either emote, which means to let it flow, or you can suppress. So he was saying that we should be more like toddlers who don't suppress anything. He said that toddlers, when they're hungry, they eat. When they're sad, they cry. When they're curious, they ask. And when they're mad, they yell. So I really appreciated that perspective, right? Because I do feel like as you become an adult, it does really get hard to just sleep when you're tired or eat when you're hungry. Like just me, for example, I can't sleep when I'm the most tired in the morning, and that's when I have to get my kids off to school. And I don't eat when I'm hungry because I do intermittent fasting. So just a big part of adulting is training yourself to do the opposite of what you feel and the thing that triggered me, I think, was the whole yell when you're angry part, because especially as a Black woman, you are not allowed to, or as a woman, period, you're not allowed to yell when you're angry. You have to find other ways to express your anger, and not because you need to kiss a nigga ass, but because if you want to be heard, you can't yell. But maybe being angry isn't always about being heard. It's just important to express these things for your body. Okay, so this is what this video was teaching me, and this is what I'm passing on to you. The thing that you have to remember about your emotions is that they are neither good nor bad. They just are. It's just energy. And if you do not let energy become expressed, it gets stagnant. And so what happens is, if your energy is like a river, say your energy is like a river, and the things that you want to experience are all flowing down that river, right? They're all coming downstream. If you've ever read Abraham Hicks or watched Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks video, you know where I'm going with this. But yes, everything that you want is downstream, and the only thing you have to do is let that stream flow to you. But the thing is, the stream is your emotions. That is the energy that you have that's in motion, that's bringing everything to you. It's about how you feel. And I know a lot of people hear that and they think about manifestation, and they think like, oh, okay, so now you're going to tell me that I have to feel good all the time. I'm not going to tell you that you have to feel good all the time. That's fucking impossible. I'm telling you that you have to feel what you feel when you feel it, and don't suppress it. Because what happens when you suppress it is you experience a blockage. There's all these things flowing downstream, all your emotions flowing downstream, and then you hit an emotion you don't like, and so you put up a damn. You say, oh no, I'm not about to feel this shit. And so because you don't want to let that one feeling pass, everything starts to pile up. So it's like, no matter what, number one, you drying up, you know what I mean? Like, experiences are drying up, new feelings are drying up. And also everything that is able to get through, it just has tinges of that other shit in it that you don't want to let pass. So then everything becomes muddy and cloudy and stagnant and stuck, and it sucks. And it literally becomes a suck too, because it starts to drain. It starts to like pull you down with it. It becomes like mud, and mud sucks. So the way to keep your water clear and to keep flowing is to feel your feelings. When they come up, just like a toddler, you feel them. Now, I'm not your therapist. I don't know how to tell you to express them in a way that is beneficial for society, because we all do live in society. We live in the world. We can't just go around, you can't just yell at the bank teller because she's saying there's nothing in your account. I'm glad that I made that example, actually, because that's a prime example of what I was saying. Okay. You wouldn't be yelling at the bank teller because of her. You would be yelling because you are triggered, because you feel like the fact that there's no money in the account means what? Means whatever it meant the last time there was no money in the account, which means you're going to suffer. Are you going to eat, or are you going to starve? That's the underlying question humans have every day. Am I going to live, or am I going to die? And pretty much all of our emotions boil down to that question, you know? So you have to, in those moments is when you have to ask yourself, like, even though this is frustrating, and even though it feels like the stakes are really high with this, are they? Do I have somebody I can call and get a couple $100s from while I figure out this bank situation? Or do I have another account? Or do I have something I can sell? There's always something that you can do to help your body realize that you are actually safe, that this is not like the last time. And a lot of times life will send us similar experiences just so that we can get that message into ourselves that this is not like the last time. But see, we get confused and we think that we're going through these similar experiences because we're being punished, because we're stupid, because, oh, I can't believe I'm here again. But that's, a lot of times, that's not it at all. Is God is giving you the opportunity to recognize that even though it looks the same, it's not the same. And that brings me back to you being an intuitive, because I feel like you have that power. You are able to help other people see that. You're able to help other people see their growth and their progression, but it's very hard to see your own. And I just want to caution you about the blocking thing, about blocking off your emotions when you feel emotions that you think you're not supposed to feel, because you think you're supposed to be in a positive frame of mind to live the life you want, which is bullshit. And it's impossible. And it just frustrates you to think that that's the case, and to think that you're failing at it. And then it makes you think the stakes are really high. So all of that is just such an energy drain. That's not where I'm trying to go with this. What I'm trying to say is, because you are an intuitive, you pick up on the feelings of other people. You don't just have your feelings flowing down that river. You got everybody's feelings flowing down that river. So a lot of it is not even your own. It's not your own energy, right? But the way to get, but it will bring you to what you want faster. Though this is the superpower, right? Is because actually it gives you much more of a rushing, flowing, quick moving river than the average person who only has their own emotions in their river. So the fact that you have other people's emotions in your river, what you're trying to do is not feel the negative ones, so you put up a block. So then you have a bigger blockage than everybody else, and you look more stuck than everybody else. But that's only because your stream is so much more fast moving than everybody else. If you were able to release your judgment of yourself for the things that you feel, and just allow yourself to feel them and allow them to just pass through and go and be gone, your river would start to move so much faster, and you would start to feel so much lighter and better. So, yeah, I think that's the message. I'll talk to you later.